enough energy in an egg to grow a baby chicken without any external input for 21 days. That's a real dense source of nutrition for anyone. Now I'd say if you are water fasting and you don't know where your next meal is coming from and you're walking 10 to 30 miles a day, eat that egg. Go for it. You don't live like that. You have no caloric scarcity in your life. So that yolk is supposed to grow a baby animal. You never need to put that much insulin-like growth factor in your body. Ever. Right.
Oh, okay, and that's what we eat.
And that's what you eat.
Yeah.
So I didn't take you all the way through my plant-based journey, but I had a fertilized egg one day from my farm. So when I was in medical school, my house was pretty close to the medical school, and then we were on an island. So everybody leaving the island throughout the day could go past my house. So we were a drop location for CSA. And again, I'm checking my sustainability boxes. I'm eating local cheese, eggs from like free-range chicken that my daughter can go pet, right? One day I got a fertilized chicken egg in my pan. So that was the end of chicken or eggs for me. That was on like that's up there with the cadaver day. So then I was just down to eggs and cheese. Cheese and butter. But we are the only mammal that suckles the teat of another mammal. Just putting that out there.
So I might have missed this.
That's okay.
So at the beginning you talked about how supremely fit you were when you were training. So how do you compare your fitness today on a starch-based diet back then?
No, I appreciate that question. Thanks for bringing us full circle. I have more functional fitness now than I did before. I am more flexible. I do better in my yoga. I feel like I can use my strength in a way I couldn't before. And I feel better in my body now. So for all the work I did before, I do much less now. And I feel better, and I think I look better. So I think I've got good muscle tone, and I don't worry about where my muscle comes from. I've never met a human in the developed world with protein deficiency ever. Just haven't. So I appreciate the question, and I feel great. I feel better now than I did as an athlete.
Where are you getting most of your protein?
It's a good question too, because I have a legume allergy. So that was part of my discovery through the osteopathic medical diagnosis and the C. diff was I did a food allergy profile, and as being someone who had kind of dropped animal protein starting medical school, I had a lot more beans in my diet. And growing up, I ate a good amount of legumes, and I was a star belcher. My football father, I think, didn't want to ever admit it to my mother, but you could hear me 4 flights up, and frequently throughout the day. I didn't have great digestion growing up as a child, and I didn't know that that was not normal. And once I got the diagnosis of having a legume allergy, throughout the C. diff diagnosis, I cut out all legumes. Whoa, like bloat went down, I don't burp anymore, my digestion's so much better. That was a big one to learn about in my mid-20s. So I don't eat soy, legumes, lentils, peanuts, beans, stuff like that. I eat a lot of potatoes, which do have protein. I eat a lot of kale and broccoli and quinoa and rice and oatmeal. I do eat fermented food. Like we make a lot of our own stuff at home, whether it's cabbage or hot sauce or anything like that. So I'd say I have a fairly varied diet, and my protein comes from the same place all the other animals get their protein from, a whole lot of plants.
The high glycemic part of the potato at the bottom.
Not at all. I eat the whole potato. So if you're eating the skin too, you're eating the whole plant, you're less likely to experience that spike because of the fiber you're getting.
Sweet potato stuff.
So sweet potatoes an allergy too, just for fun. Why not? Throw another one in.
I will say she eats a lot. I mean, and we don't eat like 3 meals a day. We
I eat,
eat
like,
varied throughout the
6.
day. We snack, we nibble, and so that's,
So, and I will share with patients just for kind of relatability. I do drink alcohol and I do drink caffeine. So I'll just put that out there. I'm not a purist saint. I even eat French fries. Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy on soy.
Yes.
But you say really not.
So I would say soy, like many things offered to the vegan or plant-based person, can be very processed.
Yes.
And depending on where you're getting it, can have a whole bunch of other things added to it throughout the farming process. So, like anything, whole identifiable foods are best. GMO-free, right? You wanna try and do organic, and then the whole bean versus a soy lecithin in a product, or a soy powder, or even a tofu. Like you're really gonna try and get as close as possible to that whole food. But you know, a tofu brick's probably better than a lot of other things. So do the best you can where you can. If you're worried about bioidentical hormones, certainly watch your soy consumption. There are a lot of other ways. So, and that's something where, again, with patients, I'm happy to kind of do a food log. If they have thyroid or transition concerns, we can look between soy, sweet potato, and other bioidentical sources they might have in their diet and see if they're overdoing it or if we need to introduce more. And we can use, again, we're going to use labs to help guide us on